Okay, we're live.
It doesn't say so on my thing yet. Not that I don't believe you. Are you sure? It says off
Yeah,
air. It still says off air on mine.
it's live.
Are you positive?
Well, I'm the one running it, so it doesn't matter what yours says.
Well, you would think that Google would tell me when it's broadcasting.
Anyway, just start.
Hold on a second. Wait. If I go here and I go here, all right. Oh, now it says live. Okay. I'll count down. Three, two, one. Hello, Internet. This is episode 180 something of the Tech Podcast in 30.
183.
183. Heim Time is bored because he's a school teacher and the summer has started, so he's been badgering Paul and me to do a show on streaming music. But it's really just because he's very excited about Beats One by Apple. And what you heard in the background there was obviously the first beat of this show. Okay, so I'm talking, of course, about Haim Cohen of HeimTime.com. Paul N. Shapiro of SearchWilderness.com is somewhere on this hangout. Paul and I have opted out of video today. I don't know why. I don't have a pimp or anything. I don't think Paul does either. That being said, Haim, take it away. Tell us about the revelation that you've had, care of Eddie Q and Eminem and Dr. Dre and Mr. Jimmy Iovine or Iovine or however it's pronounced, and WWDC. Go ahead. What do you think now is the best way to stream music?
Well, the idea behind the show was how do the three of us listen to music, and from what I understood pre-show is I was old school and I buy my music. I go to Amazon, I buy whatever I want, and I listen to it. Paul sounds like he streams, he doesn't own anything, and Justin's telling me that he does neither, but yet he has everything he wants. So, so we're gonna go into that. Basically, I want to find a way. I want to get into the streaming business. I think that that's the way to go. And if we spend $72 a year anyway on buying music, a couple albums, then why don't I find a way to get some family plan and let my wife and I stream music? I don't see the problem. Isn't that I can have everything I want and we can go from there?
Paul, it looks like you're on video. I'm the only one that's not. Hello, welcome, Paul. Paul, do you think that Haim means he wants to go into the streaming music business, or that he wants to just pay $15 a month and share it with his wife? What is he? What are you? Well, I don't even know what you're talking about, Haim. Paul, is that a good idea for Haim to jump out of the purchasing arena and into the streaming arena, like he said?
It's certainly more cost effective.
Well, is it more cost effective? It's like saying I'm going to buy a pass to a bunch of buffet dinners instead of cooking food at home. I mean, if the upfront cost is slightly higher, is it more efficient to just be able to get more and more music? And if the alternative is something like using YouTube or a free streaming service like Spotify to do it, I don't understand where the tension is, Hein. Why do you have to choose it all?
Well, look, Spotify. Well, I started with Spotify. I did my 3 months of Google Music, and what I've noticed is that I always end up going back to my songs. And I think what it is that I just can't choose. I just don't know what I want to listen to. I'm so scatterbrained that I pick something, I listen to it for 30 seconds, and say, okay, I'm done with this. To the point that if all the music that I want to listen to, I own.
So it's just you sound like you just need to listen to the radio.
Well, so that's the next point. I listen to Sirius satellite radio, and for me, that's good enough for just about anything.
Okay, I'll get into myself after we knock out Paul's listening habits. Paul, Hein has it in his mind that you, I don't know, are a millennial or something, and you just stream like Spotify 24 hours a day. Is that the case? Where does your how do you listen to your music?
I I I stream Spotify 24 hours a day, and now I'm using Google Music. I don't think I've really ever paid for music in my life. Um, I was an avid like Napster user like in the beginning, um, and I for a long time I just had my old MP3 player with a large collection, and then when alternatives came out like Spotify, where I could now legally stream music and have access to the library that I really felt that I needed, that became the way to do things.
So is it fair to say then that you switched from pirated music more or less to ad-supported listening? I mean, that's what it sounds. So the
Well,
artists
what
are.
Paul's not saying, because I don't think, Justin, you've tried Spotify, is Spotify Radio. If you want to listen to an artist, you can't just listen to the whole artist. You have to, or a specific song. You have to do that artist radio.
How often
That's
have
on
I?
mobile. That's on mobile only.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening to Spotify like in background at work, and I can listen to whatever I want to, just like I have Spotify Premium.
But when was the last time either of you typed a song and artist combo into YouTube and didn't find like a high quality presentation of it right away?
Yeah, but I'm on mobile
I've done that
mostly.
too.
You're on
I
what?
I listen to music almost exclusively on mobile.
So do I. But like, if one of my favorite concerts is Radiohead live at Glastonbury 2003, right? I can't tell you how many times I've been driving who knows where and streamed it via YouTube in the background on my phone.
But if you have an official artist, let's say if you use a Vivo property on YouTube, if the screen goes black, the music stops.
See, well, you got to get one of the one of the third-party YouTube players on iOS, and that's not the case. So
and there are disadvantages to doing that. You're also streaming it opposed to having some sort of localized copy, and it's using data.
Well, then I've always gotten the lowest storage capacity iPhone, and it's not bugged me. I'm kind of thinking I might bump it up this next time, but I mean, thanks to AT&T, I never have a problem streaming it. So I don't even understand the tension. The other thing is I haven't had to think about, I need to make sure that, all of OK Computer is on my iPhone in 128 kilobit per second AAC. Otherwise, I'm going to die when I go to the gym.
We're not there yet. We're just talking about how do you listen to music. I'm not worried about the quality.
It's not. I'm not talking about the quality. I'm talking about whether or not I have to think about whether or not I'm putting a file on my phone. And the answer is no. And the same is true with my photos. It's in the cloud, frankly.
So you don't listen to Taylor Swift.
Yes, that is true. I don't know exactly how you came to that conclusion, though, because she doesn't put her stuff out for streaming wise. Is that what you're saying?
The only two spots she has it streaming is on Apple Music and for purchase or on YouTube Video. So you can't get her stuff on Spot. You can't get her new album on Spotify.
I'm really sorry that Tom York has much better I don't even know what to tell you. Okay, yes, I don't listen to Taylor Swift. So if I like
AC/DC.
AC/DC, by the way, I think they just made their entire catalog available on iTunes.
And Tool.
There's only a scant few Tool songs that I listen to, and the same is true with Rage Against the Machine, which it sounds like you're going to say next. But
no,
yeah,
Rage is what about the third encore of the 1972 Grateful Dead show?
That would be. I would go to YouTube.
So look, so it sounds like you're more of a streaming guy. You type into YouTube and you listen to it.
Yes, but that's not telling the full story because I use iTunes Match, and my little brother, I don't remember even what year it was when he and I lived lived together when we were children. He would go to the Randolph Public Library, and he systematically ripped every CD that they had onto our computer at the time.
I'm sure you're not breaking the law.
Well, I don't know. He would borrow the CDs and rip them. And that's what he would do. He did it systematically. He went through every single one, whether he liked it or not. And we had a collection of I think at that time we were doing it in 128 kilobit per second MP3. I think it was constant bit rate. I made sure that it wasn't joint stereo though, because I didn't like that. And those tracks, those rips have traveled with us. I think they're on my network attached storage now somewhere. But the point is that when iTunes Match came about, I took the opportunity to upload all of those songs, exceeded the limit of 25,000, but made sure that my favorite music, including Radiohead, including all of the Beatles songs which he ripped, including everything else, were matched by iTunes. So now, as far as Apple is concerned, and I guess I certainly never purchased these songs, admittedly, but I also, they're not downloaded illegally, exactly, iTunes matched them, and now I'm actually entitled to, based on the service, to download local copies of the highest quality that Apple will provide DRM free if I want. But the other benefit is when I use Siri to say play songs by the Beatles, it goes into the Beatles songs that I ripped, and the same is true for every other artist. So like the Hieroglyphics, which some of their stuff is I don't know. It's not like it's popular music, but I know that the albums that I like are on there.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is what happens if you want. Okay, Beats One right now. When I paused it was playing Childish Gambino, an artist I've never heard of before. Let's say you wanted to hear that. How would you go about hearing that? You would type that into YouTube.
You answered the question.
Okay.
And Paul, what would you do? I mean, you would type it into Spotify and listen to the radio station based on him, or what? What was your solution?
I'd probably go to the artist page on Spotify or Apple Music and listen to him. But I might also opt to just YouTube it.
So wait, let's go back to the distinction between mobile and desktop Spotify. When you load up the Spotify app at work, it's literally the same service effectively as Apple Music on iTunes on a desktop, right? It's the full catalog of both of them.
Right, with an occasional ad.
Okay. And I guess with Apple Music, there's never an ad, but you have to pay $10 a month or $15 a month for the family plan. Okay.
And I had subscribed to Spotify Premium at one point as well, and I had canceled that service.
So, Chaim, are you saying that you need Childish Gambino's newest album now in your possession? Like you need to pay the $9.99 for it? What are you getting at?
Well, I'm looking to find more music. When I want to listen to music, I always have a problem. What do I listen to? And it bothers me because, I don't know, I want to listen to new music. I want to find new music.
You have a discovery issue, which is really a level removed from this discussion, and that is what Apple thought they were trying to solve with Beats One, and really the not the cornerstone, but a major pillar of Apple Music is the ability to get their suggestions, which are supposedly not so cold as an algorithm and have been tweaked by the music editors, including Trent Reznor, which I suppose if you talk about, you like Nine Inch Nails a lot, right?
No, actually I don't. There's a number of artists that when they come on the radio, I will turn the radio off.
Including Nine Inch Nails?
Nine Inch Nails, Maroon 5, Mumford & Son, Coldplay.
Okay, but Childish Gambino is not on
that
list.
So let me take it through. Paul, you were saying you were listening to Google Music currently?
Apple Music.
Apple Music. Okay, I started with Google Music because they bought songs on. They had this cool, nifty feature where you pick your mood and you listen to it. The problem was, even on Premium, I could never find the right radio station. Then I went to Amazon. Amazon had their service. The problem is Prime is very, very toned down. It only has 1 million tracks instead of the 30 million. And I found more success there, but still nothing. So then I went to Spotify, and I think by putting in the art, like taking one of the songs, I got a better collection, but I still felt myself skipping. And now I'm on Apple Music. You're
at a curation and discovery and quality level. I'm talking about quality of the mix level. You're trying to get, if songs is what is attracting you to Google Music, it is about the mood. And that's what Apple Music is trying to do. And they are going to for the first time I think they're going to have an officially branded Apple Music app on the Android store. I kind of can't wait to see that. But just before I forget, I'd like to say that one of the things that makes me, well, I guess this isn't true of Apple Music. I should be careful. This is only true of Beats One. Beats One is pretty cool, and it's just we could do a whole show on the fact that Apple is now really a content creator, but they bleep out, or they don't bleep. They mute the explicit words. I'm not going to listen to an Eminem track where the word "fuck," frankly, is muted. That bugs me. Anyway,
well, I have a response to that.
What is your response? That you're raising a young child and everyone?
Yes, I was like you, and I don't want the explicit. And I went on and on how the curse words were not the problem and the content was the problem. But now I'm raising an almost 2-year-old who will repeat almost anything I say, and
So
and
you should mute yourself then if you have to, and don't let him listen to Beats One or have 2 streams or something. But it seems to me it's silly
well,
to have hip hop or any music, frankly, and do the same.
well, I'll give you an example. We were watching Last Week Tonight. Last Week Tonight is filled with things I don't want my child hearing. So now it's a censorship issue. I don't curse in general. So but you're right. It's maybe if they had 2 streams going, I would.
Anyway, it strikes me that Apple changed the music player at iOS to be better. It's still a little clunky to me, but it's better. And the curation thing coupled with Beats One, I think is an interesting turn at the very least. And they have the most money of any organization in the world, let's just say, to spend on music. It doesn't mean you can throw money at the problem and solve it, but it's at least worth talking about, and it's at least worth listening to, and it threatens Spotify, excuse me again, and Google Music.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Let's take Paul. Since Paul's the one who's streaming this, you were on Spotify. How is Apple Music in comparison?
Well, I think the primary reason why I'm using Apple Music over Spotify is that it's a native music app for iOS. It integrates seamlessly with iPhone.
But where are you seeing that makes a difference in your usability? I don't even know where it cuts.
I would use an app that would play music in the background, and it just wouldn't work as well. There are apps like I would go for a jog, and it's supposed to time things with your music library, and I couldn't use that because I never had anything stored locally.
Mm-hmm.
But Apple Music is now essentially the same thing. It's well integrated into the phone. There was just really minor things that affected me. But
what about Siri?
What about Siri?
Well, Siri, I guess, works with Apple Music, and it doesn't work with Spotify, certainly.
Sure. That's an example.
Well, that's being very generous that Siri works at all.
Okay, I guess so. All right. So you, Paul, then have made the switch, but you're in the 3-month trial period of Apple Music now, and you've never used iTunes Match, it sounds like. So are you going to sign on for the $120 for the year to versus ad-supported Spotify? And do you mind using iTunes versus the Spotify app, or is that a wash?
I think it's a wash. I think I'm still in trial mode, and I'm going to stick it out for a while. There are things I like about Spotify better. I do actually think Spotify's recommendations are better. I can't stand Beats One. It's useless to me. It's not what I want to listen to ever. Just even you go to Spotify and you listen to an artist and it gives you related artists.
Mm-hmm.
That functionality is 10 times better in Spotify than it is on Apple Music.
That's interesting.
In my opinion.
Because that's one of the things that I think Apple claims, the related artists is personally curated. I don't know, by Eddie Q's children or something. I don't know who does it, but the music editors from I don't know, from Harvard Business School.
I get actually angry at the recommendation that Apple is trying to throw at me.
Well, give me an example. What's one that
they're constantly I listen to a lot of metal, and they're constantly throwing Lamb of God at me.
I mean, it just sounds like it fits. Well, I don't even understand why it doesn't fit.
Well, I don't like it, and if I don't like it, I should have an option to tell Apple I don't like it, and it should move on. It shouldn't keep throwing it at me.
I see. Okay, so it's trying to ram it down your throat. It's trying to ram Lamb of God down your throat, which is not
right.
This is not where Lamb of God belongs. But so it almost sounds like instead of choosing Q1043 versus New Jersey 101.5 versus K-Rock or something, now people choose Sirius versus Spotify versus Google Music /song with the songs of Roots in it versus Apple Music versus Vivo or something. Is that kind of what's going on here?
Well, Let me change the subject really quick. While you guys were talking, I asked Google Now to play Sublime on Spotify, and it did it perfectly. It found it. It opened up Spotify. So does Siri do the same thing? And this is not a knock on Siri. But if the difference is native, can you say, hey, Siri, can you...
Absolutely not. You cannot right now. In iOS 9, it's supposed to allow apps to present... It opens up an API to allow apps to have deep search. So it's and I'm not certain of this. It's possible that Siri will be able to do exactly as you described, but right now the answer is absolutely not. You cannot do it. You cannot.
So if the issue then becomes, I have a feeling that I think Justin's the only one that has these really eclectic tastes that they need the third encore from the Fish show. And
it's not. It's not. By the way, it's not the Grateful Dead or Fish. Frankly, in Fish, I could just completely. That's a move on kind of like artist for me. It's that. If I want to listen to a certain version of Let Down by Radiohead, and there are 3 or 4 live versions that I like, yeah, I want the one that from Glastonbury versus, I don't know, Madison Square. I don't know.
Okay, so either way, I just want to be able to hype some artist who has a CD out that's on the major labels. I want the 30 million. I don't care if it's 30 million versus 31 million. I don't need the live shows. So I need something that has the best radio station curation.
Paul, do you get the feeling that Haim listens to the Backstreet Boys and stuff? Don't you?
Look, I've been listening to a lot more pop lately.
So that's a yes.
But
that's okay.
I'm not even criticizing you.
I mean, I'm more of a 95.
Sounds like a criticism.
Adult contemporary.
Haim, is the answer yes, though? Am I right?
No.
Okay. You successfully sussed out that I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I thought you were, okay. Then is it NSYNC? Then I don't even know what pop do you need to hear all the time.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of One Republic.
I don't even know what that is.
Let's see. Listen now. There's been a lot of T-Swizzle.
See, I listen to like Wiz Khalifa and like harder hip hop and like Brit pop and Brit rock, I guess.
I mean, look, I put on I've been trying to go back to the early 2000s and the late 90s, but it's been rock and it has been a lot of pop lately.
So I kind of look at the music streaming like this. It's just another Netflix. It's like the way you listen to music now is subscription, and the way you watch video TV now is subscription, and it fits. Eventually, I think those are going to be unified to some extent, but streaming is how it is, and the only reason I guess that I will stick with iTunes Match is because my brother did all that work archiving the Randolph Public Library CDs or something. Streaming is how people is how they absorb content, I think.
Well, the problem with streaming, and what I've noticed, and I did this, and let me start with, I didn't open up iTunes since the update, or even before the update. I am a lot on Google Music, so when I open iTunes, it's to see if the latest in 30 is downloaded to make sure everything's right. But I haven't opened it up in a while, and when I opened it up, it said, find your music. And I said, what do you mean find my music? I have 12,000 songs. Where are they?
Paul, do you give a crap about playlists? Do you make playlists?
Yeah, I do care about playlists.
And okay.
Well,
and I use Spotify's like curated playlist a lot, and that their social playlist as well. I think that was pretty good. But
what I'm saying is that I spent, and Justin can remember this from years ago, really, really worrying about play counts and.
It's an OCD thing. It doesn't amount to much though. It's like It's like your Fitbit step count.
Well, okay, but the last
play count like Last FM.
No, I don't Scrabble to Last FM. I'm talking about iTunes has the smart playlist that help you rotate music and find stuff that you really listen to. But I do like on Google Music to say, hey, play my most played tracks when I really want to find.
You can do that if you're siloed into any Apple zone. You can do that, and the same is true, I'm sure, with Spotify or Google Music. But I just want to go back to what you were saying, Paul, with a socially curated playlists or whatever. It sounds like that is the new DJ. I mean, it's just like that is the new Q1043, or like much better than that, frankly.
Yeah, and I think that's still a better option than Beats One, to be honest.
Exactly. So that's an alternative. So if you're going on a jog and you trust this DJ, that's how you can discover if there's a track that hits you as being amazing during that jog that you've never, you don't have to even check during it. You can go back if you want to buy it, or at least add a station for that artist or something. I mean, that's how you would do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that is what you're looking for, effectively.
I don't know what I'm looking for. That's I think the bigger problem.
You're bored, like I was saying at the beginning of the
Pandora, something like Pandora. That's like really a recommendation.
No, but I can't do that. I need to go in, and I want to be able to like something and say, okay, I like this song. Like doing like the 3 likes on TiVo. The 1 like means I like this and only this. 2 likes mean I like this show and the actors in it. And 3, I like this, the genre, and the actors to offer suggestions. But I don't know. I'm looking for the best, and I don't know which one's winning. I think Spotify right now is winning. But in the last few minutes, I want to talk about I want to subscribe to Google Music because I have this native thing that feels better, just like Paul's saying with Apple. But they don't have a family plan, which is what I really want.
They will have it.
Have a family plan.
Not Google Music.
Oh, Google Music. Sorry.
They'll have it. They'll have it in a month time. I mean,
not Google Music has not said. Spotify has said yes. We're gonna modify ours soon. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Look, it's whether or not they just have to talk to their lawyers or something. Whatever deal Apple made, Google will be able to make. It's a done deal. You don't have to worry about that. But if that's what does it, that's what does it. You pay $15 a month for your music. You pay $8 a month to Netflix and whatever Hulu is, and there you go. I mean, that's the whole thing. And you can still listen to Beats One for free if you'd like.
Maybe is the paid version explicit?
No, there's not. And I tweeted Eddie Q. Wait, before we get off the air for this episode, I will tell you who favorited the tweet I sent to Eddie Q asking him for the explicit tracks. He was Gil Graff. Anyone know who he is? He's a verified Twitter user, and he's on iTunes Spanish. Anyway, I'm not so concerned about it. So the summation of this episode is that yes, nowadays you stream what you listen to. Correct? I mean that's what it comes down to.
Well, I'm still not there yet, but it's always good to say, hey, I want to listen to this. The problem is I don't know what I want to listen to.
Paul, can you get on this?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask Paul this. On Google Music.
You're bored, hon.
On Google Music, if you're listening to the radio, so if you're listening to the radio there, and the song is in your library, does it use the one in your library, or does it use the one that they have?
What?
For Apple Music?
For Apple Music.
You were saying Google Music.
Well, no, on Google Music, it uses theirs and not mine.
It always uses theirs. Otherwise, it wouldn't be radio. It would be a suggested playlist. And even the suggested playlist uses only tracks that are already in the library. So, like with a unique track ID, whatever that might be.
Well, let's say I have the same unique track. I want to listen to.
Are you saying?
Whatever.
Does it ever use your local copy?
Well, you get 6 skips before they stop the music. You get 6 skips per hour as part of the licensing deal.
It never stops the music though. It just stops you being able to skip the tracks.
Correct. But if I'm skipping a track that I own, I should be allowed to do that.
No, that you're getting too into it. Then
probably.
But this is a problem that I have and I want to solve.
Just so I would like to say, there's also Kindle Unlimited now for effectively streaming your books too.
Correct. So you can stream everything.
It's subscriptions. That's what it is. So
So they can get monthly money out of you every single month.
Exactly, and that their teams have determined that is a better deal, even because the all-you-can-eat people, the really fat ones, the ones that go to the buffet and eat 90% of a tray of I don't know, baklava, whatever it happens to be. Digitally, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So they'd rather
Okay,
do
we have
that.
30 seconds.
All right. Listen to Radiohead all the time, all day long. That's my recommendation.
Okay, anything else?
No, you should give your recommendation, Heim.
Oh, my recommendation? My recommendation is to figure out what you like, because I don't know what it is. And tell me.
And Paul.
I was over at Radiohead 10 years ago.
Oh, Paul, you're killing me. And it's been replaced with.
I don't know. Some DJ.
Okay, great. I'm the only loyal music listener. Okay, that is the end of the show.